Hi everyone, and welcome to StudioJake. I, of course, am your host, Jacob Airy. Today, we are going to be talking about 10 indie comics that are being crowdfunded to support while you're on quarantine. I've covered a lot of mainstream comic book characters like Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, the Avengers, and so I thought it would be a good idea to shout out some indie comics that are being developed as we speak, and a lot of them are being affected by the coronavirus because printers have closed down and everything in between. So this would be a good opportunity to step up and support these comics. I've selected 10 based on people that I followed their career or I know them personally. That way you know for sure you're getting something high quality. Someone that some of them I have bought comic books from before and the like. So it's going to be a lot of fun as I go through some of these. With all that said, be sure to like this video and share it out on all platforms. Also leave me a comment because it feeds the algorithms. If you're on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the channel, but also ring the little bell. That way you turn on all notifications. If you're on Facebook, be sure to like the page and also turn on all notifications there because they do this weird thing with their subscription feed. You may not see it because they put it in this weird order based on what you commented on and stuff. That's honestly why um, small creators like me are so hurt. It's hard for us to rise in the YouTube algorithm because they've made it so complicated. But you sharing, liking, subscribing, commenting, that always helps us small creators. So with that in mind, sit back, relax, and welcome to Studio Jake. Alright everyone, sorry for the loud crashing in the background. If you hear that, that is our garbage day. Los Angeles can't seem to decide what garbage day they want to do. So, because we have 3 different garbage cans, one for regular trash, one for recyclables, and one for green. So basically, if you mow your lawn, you pick up limbs and leaves afterwards, you put it in that, and they all come at different days. It feels like at random times, although I know that's not the case. It just feels that way. Nothing against the sanitation workers who are doing it. They're just doing their job, but it's just loud and distracting sometimes, especially when you're trying to record. So if you hear like this loud boom or crash, it's not the zombie apocalypse happening because of the outbreak while you're in quarantine. It's just some really loud garbage trucks, and there was just another crash. You might not, may have not picked that one up because it's a little far away, but still. All right, so 10 indie comics to support while on quarantine. I'm going to start out with Chuck Dixon's Airboy, which is done through It's Alive. They are doing several campaigns right now. So he has done Airboy issue 51, so this is issue 52, but if you missed 51, you can pick it up. So I'm going to read the description real quick. After a 30-year hiatus, Chuck Dixon returns to write new issues of Airboy, joined by rising stars Brent McKee and Jock, who are doing the penciling, inking, and colors and lettering. The action on the first page of Airboy 51 picks right up where Airboy 50 left off 3 decades ago. Airboy 51 will be out less than a month, followed very quickly by Airboy number 52. To celebrate these 2 new issues of Airboy, we have commissioned variant covers by Brett Blevins, Dalidor Talajic, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Don Perlman, Emma Kubert, Graham Nolan, Jim Steranko, Matt Kent, Paul Galassi, Sam Keith, and Stripe Galactic. I hope I'm pronouncing that as well. So they have already met their goal for issue 52, but it's still up, and I highly recommend it. Um, Chuck Dixon is one of my favorite comic book writers. He has done some amazing work, and you can pick the variant you want, and they have them all shown on screen so you don't have to guess which one you're getting. Personally, I like the There's a black and white one, exclusive variant by Brett Blevins. That one is my favorite. So anyway, I highly recommend this one. It looks like it's going to be wild and fun and a blast. I did not read the original um, Airboy comics because 30 years ago I was too young to read Airboy comics, but I think that these are going to be fun. They're going to be a blast to read. So go ahead and support it, and go ahead and get 51 and 52. I mean, why not? All right, so up next, this is actually not a person I'm hugely familiar with, but I wanted to shout out this project because the artwork on it looks amazing. It's called Peregrine Wings of the Falcon, and they've got some amazing art samples on here from their test pages. It's got some great perks that you can get, and a lot of them are already sold out, which is really cool. Um, you just look at some of the awesome techniques. So I'm going to read you a little bit from their description. Remember when superhero comics used to be fun, interesting, with excellent stories and art? We do, and we miss it. That's why we've decided to bring back with the first of what we hope will become a mighty resurgence of excellent superhero storytelling with quality art to match. As the opening salvo in the Reconstruction universe, Peregrine, Wings of the Falcon promises to open the door for a brand new world of quality you came to expect but have been left yearning for. So it's raised so far $3.5 thousand with their goal is 10,000. It's done by the graded point 5 campaign out here in the United States. Like I said, the artwork on this looks amazing. The cover art is really cool. The character designs are great. The background work is neat. And like I said, they've got a ton of great perks, including the cover A, the manga cover, which looks really great as well. I think it's going to be cool. Um, and I think it's going to be really great. Let's help them get to their goal. They've got 30 days left to raise 7,500 more dollars. So let's make this happen. All right, so this is Galactic Rodents of Mayhem, Volume 1, described as a space opera inspired with the always awesome Saturday morning cartoons of the 90s. This is done by Gilbert Deltrez. I follow him on Twitter. He is always releasing images and tests and whatnot. This project has met its goal. It's 4,000 over actually, but I still think that we should support it because it looks awesome. He definitely put his um, best foot forward with this. I'm going to read you the overview. Galactic Rodents of Mayhem is an off-the-rails, edge-of-your-seat, deep space sci-fi adventure featuring your soon-to-be fur-verite capybara bounty hunters. After a hefty 1 million bounty is suddenly put on their heads, Bash Ripple and Mona Lisa embark on a deadly cat and mouse game of survival that pits them against the menacing Dark Raider. Awesome story and art jam-packed into a colored 100-plus page graphic novel. So they're going all out. It's not a single issue. It's a long-form graphic novel, which is another reason um, I support it. And with this one, if you're kind of like, hey, I don't want to get a physical copy right now, that's fine. You can get it in digital format as well. So um, I definitely say support this one. It's going to be great. The cover is amazing. It's cool. I definitely want you to support this one. Up next, we got Lady Alchemy Mutis Liber. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's Latin and I hate Latin. It's run by Martina Markota. The goal was originally $25,000, but it's already up to 47, so she too has met her goal. However, just so you know, the original version of Lady Alchemy, what had been in formation for a while, but literally someone tried to steal the comic from Martina. I'm not going to go into all the detail. It's craziness. You'll have to read her Twitter, the @Lady Alchemy Twitter, to hear all of the crazy things that some people tried to do to steal her comic. So she had to restart this campaign, and she's got a new artist named Matthew Weldon as well, and a new writer named Bob Klaus, and the two of them are working closer together. The description is: when a hopeful starlet is offered the performance opportunity of a lifetime by demonic forces seeking to use her mysterious power for evil, she must unlock her ancient power within to combat them, but it could cost both her fame and her soul. Again, this sounds amazing. It sounds like a great mystical adventure. Um, and is and it looks really really interesting, really entertaining, um, and I think it's going to be pretty good. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. It's definitely got some really cool old school Wonder Woman vibes to it, but I think it's going to be a unique tell all on its own. Okay, so next up we have Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog 2 Wrecked Planet. Once again, he has already met his goal. His goal is 8,000, and he's way beyond that. But I am definitely suggesting backing this comic. He is Ethan Van Sciver. He's a very talented comic book writer. I actually got the first project that he did, which was just called Cyber Frog Blood Honey, I believe, and it was fantastic. It was a great comic series. Basically, what happens is the first one is Earth is invaded by these wasps that are trying to use humanity to make their hives. It's a very compelling tale. He also kind of modernizes Cyberfrog's origin um, as well. So it's not because he originally wrote the first Cyberfrog kind of in the 90s. So now he's writing it in, for today in modern times, like they've been asleep since the 90s. Or because of the attack, Cyberfrog was kind of put in a coma. So I definitely recommend this one. It's going to be great. Ethan Sciver is an amazing and talented artist. He's kind of been, because of his philosophical beliefs, he's kind of been uh, shoved to the side um, by the DC Comics universe, where he co-created some superheroes and did some great um, comic books such as Batman Legends of the Dark Knight. So definitely check this out. And like I said, he's already met his goal, but let's support it. It looks good. It's going to be good. I can't wait to read it. All right, so next up is Dr. Alpha Miracle Child. Now, this one is unique compared to the other ones because this one is actually about a villain. It's ran. The campaign is run by Literature Devil, who's one of my favorite YouTubers. He talks about how to write stories and stuff. So he's trying his hand at crafting his um, own comic book. I'm going to read you some of the description. Looking for more complex characters and a more complex story set in a superhero universe? What would happen if Fight Club's Tyler Durden became an evil scientist? Dr. Alpha has been considered as one of the most dangerous supervillains in the galaxy for decades. Now, his former arch-nemesis, superhero known as Glorious, suggests a team-up when another supervillain, the Martian Mastermind, returns from the dead to launch another invasion of Earth. But as everyone knows, when evil geniuses get involved, things are rarely how they appear. And so he goes on to talk about what inspired the comic. Enter a world without status quo, where anything can happen, where even the mightiest superhero can't always walk away without a scar if they manage to walk away at all. And then he puts a warning on it that it's not for kids. This is for because it's more designed for mature readers. So he's got all kinds of perks where you can get different levels of the comic book. I think this one's going to be good. Like I said, I really love Literature Devil's YouTube channel. He talks about crafting story. He critiques other well, mainly film writers' perspectives on how to write comics. And so I really think he's going to do a good job writing his own comic. Next up, we have from Fanatic Comics, we have Awful Worlder by Mike Baron and Jordi Armagol. I hope you're pronouncing that right. So Mike Baron is one of my favorite um, comic book writers. He created Nexus, one of a science fiction superhero that takes place way in the future when humanity has adventured into the stars. He also created um, the superhero called Badger, which is a superhero who has DID. Um, very interesting, very entertaining stuff. So Offworlder is about a Viking who gets abducted by aliens, and it's um, it's very it's very interesting. I'm sorry, not a Viking who gets captured. It's a Scotsman. So it says 7th century Scotland. Henry Gunn leads his clan in a ferocious battle with Viking invaders, led by the savage Hrathgoth. Hrathgoth sees victory finally within his grasp. Gunn and his men senses that this may be their last stand, are saved by the approach of three unknown ships. The Vikings flee, not sure if the new uninvited guests are friend or foe. So it's got some pretty amazing artwork. It looks really cool. The covers are amazing. They have for different stretch goals. Um, you can get different versions of the cover. I think it's going to be a fantastic read. They've got a ton of samples, um, as well as the different perks that you can get. It's got 2 weeks left. It's it's way short of its goal. Let's try to get this up there so that we can support these indie comics. I think it's going to be fantastic. Next up, we have Kyle Ritter's Starblades Volume 1. Now, this artwork is amazing. Carl Ritter is a fantastic artist. He does amazing art, and this project looks great. I'm going to read you the description where he says, "Hi, I'm Kyle Ritter. I've been in the comic making business for almost 8 years, and I'm sorry, and was most recently the colorist for the smash Indiegogo success Cyberfrog Blood Honey. Now I'm creating my very own graphic novel. Starblades is the first book in a planned trilogy and is starting off as a 48-page graphic novel. I need your help bringing Starblades to life. Join me by backing this campaign, and I promise to deliver top quality art and a story that will help you waiting in anticipation for the next installment of Starblades." So this is one that has hit its goal, um, but let's continue to support these guys. This will be an awesome feature. All right, so next we have Bigfoot Bill Part 2, Finger of Poseidon by Doug TenNapel. Doug TenNapel, of course, has done Creature Tech and Earthworm Jim, all kinds of great stories. So now he's doing a sequel to Bigfoot Bill, which was his very first, I think, was his Bigfoot Bill, the first one, I think was his first Indiegogo campaign. I apologize if I'm wrong about that. I think I am correct about that. But so he's doing a sequel to it. And he says, "I'm pleased to offer an all new book, Bigfoot Bill 2, Finger of Poseidon, which continues the epic tale of a Bigfoot who stole Poseidon's finger to wear the Kraken and find his family. This time, Bill uses the Kraken to take over a motorcycle, take a shortcut through Hades, and try to keep Poseidon from flooding the earth." So sounds like the kind of mayhem you would get from a Doug TenNapel story. Highly recommend it. Let's get it. Let's get it out there. And again, this one has met its goal, but I still think we should support it and move forward with it. Last, but definitely not least, Pillowman and Blanket Boy, Maximum Velocity Redux by Sean Davis. Um, this looks like a fun, exciting story that looks great. It says, according to its overview, this comic is a passion project for me. I believe in my son's vision so much that I wanted to share with the rest of the world just a small sample of his creativity. We may not set the world on fire, but a fire only needs a spark to spread. This is our spark. So basically, um, Sean Davis's son actually came up with the ideas for these superheroes, and so Sean is bringing them to life in their adventures. So the artwork looks pretty cool. It looks pretty awesome. I think it's going to be a lot of fun and a great read for anyone who backs the project. It's barely made its goal. Let's push it over the edge. So those are all the ones I have for today. Those are 10 indie comics to support while you're on quarantine. They are all Indiegogo. I did not veer off. Maybe if you have some ideas, let me know in the comments below. Um, and I know that some of these creators have, shall we say, some drama between them. I'm not about that. I don't want to get involved in the drama. I just want to support good comics. So I don't care if so and so has a beef with such and such, or this person is part of this movement, and that person is part of the spin-off of that movement's best friend's sister-in-law. I don't care about all that. I just want to support quality indie creators, especially during this time while we're all on lockdown. So let's do it. Let's get it done. With that in mind, thank you so much for listening. Be sure to follow me on the social media on Twitter, Instagram, and Parler. I'm at Real Jacob Airy. Facebook, I'm author Jacob Airy. On YouTube, I'm Studio Jake. Find my blog at shakeberry.blog, where I talk about all sorts of pop culture stuff. You can also pick up my own novel, which is The Seven Royals, All Good Things. It's going to be a great story for you to read. It's available in digital format, not just paperback. So if you're like, I don't want a physical book right now, that's fine. You can get it in digital on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or on Apple Books. One final thing before I sign off, I am taking off for Holy Week. I'm going to take this time to reflect from Palm Sunday to Easter Sunday. I'm going to think about things. I'm going to reflect on a few things. So keep that in mind. You won't hear from me um, during this time, and also I'm going to launch a new project this month called StudioJake Movie Makeover Masterpiece, where I interview people and talk with them about movies that on paper were good, but then when they reappeared, um, they didn't turn out the way we expected. So I'm going to be talking about how we can fix them. My first guest will be Misty Callahan, who's returning. She was my very, very first guest on Studio Jake. Then I'm going to talk with Kelly Companion about Thor Dark World, and I've got a couple other of guests lined up. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.